What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellowship. Tuesday night, December 16th. Welcome to week 16. It is the final four for most fantasy football playoffs. And yeah, we're in a different location of my house for this live stream. And we're hanging out in my basement, which I've been remodeling the last year or so. And me and my wife were just hanging out downstairs. I just want to show you guys real quick. It's a really fun looking little basement. So we've been doing a lot of stuff down here, and we were just hanging out and kind of having a work night down here. So I moved all my stuff down here, and we'll do our live stream from here, I think, for the rest of the week now that I got it all set up. So kind of a fun spot. And congrats to Sports Dog for making it to the championship. Oh, we're in the championship round. And then we got Frosty as well. He might be in the championship round as well. So congrats to everybody for advancing. And we're going to hang out here. And I'm going to go over the waiver wire report for a little bit here, and then I'll kind of come back to everyone's questions. So let me go ahead and pull this up. You guys can check this out at thefantasyfellowship.com. It's membership for $8 a month, and you guys can check it out. But we're going to just go over the injuries to monitor. Of course, the Patrick Mahomes ACL tear is a huge loss. The Chiefs are officially eliminated. We're still going to see Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce play. Those are probably the only two guys I'm going to play from the Chiefs going forward. You have Jaden Daniels also shut down for the ceiling, so that's another loss as well. Let me try to go with that format there. I like that format a little better. Let me just do a little zoom there. Alrighty. Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor. I don't know who's going to be the Jets starting QB this week. I'll tell you what, they might just play Brady Cook one more time. I know they got boat raced by Jacksonville, but honestly, Brady Cook floated Adonai Mitchell for a nice day. Like I'm not opposed to seeing Brady Cook one more time. Would like to see Justin Fields at least one more time too. But we don't know who the Jets quarterback's going to be this week. Don't know who the Raiders quarterback's going to be this week. They already announced Phillip Rivers is going to be starting, but keep an eye on Anthony Richardson. We might see him start week 17 or 18. Running backs, Alvin Kamara still missing time with that knee. He's got a couple other things wrong with him, but probably no Alvin Kamara this week. Woody Marks left the game last weekend. We'll see about his ankle injury. Devin Neal left with a hamstring. I don't think he's going to play. We'll see what happens here. We'll talk about some of the Saints backs that you can look at if Kamara and Neal are both out. Now, Bam Knight, they did put on season-ending IR, so don't expect Bam Knight anymore this season. We'll talk about his replacements. Nick Chubb. So if Woody Marks can't go, we'll talk about Nick Chubb potentially being a waiver wire pull and start this weekend because they get the Raiders at home. So we're going to want Houston running back this weekend. Chris Rodriguez, of course, didn't play last weekend, and we saw JCM play pretty well. We'll see if Rodriguez can practice this week. Dylan Sampson, whatever. Wide receivers, a lot of big-name wide receivers here. Devontae Adams, they play on Thursday night. I don't think he's going to play. I'm listing him as doubtful. If he plays, you play him. And I know it's week 16, final four weekend. What do you want to take a risk on? But he catches touchdowns. That's what he does. Drake London, they're saying good things. I don't know if he's going to play. He's questionable. I would hope we don't see T. Higgins the rest of the way. The season's lost for the Bengals. Let him just regenerate because he's had, 2-3 concussions this season. Let him chill. I'm thinking he's more doubtful than questionable. I had Rome Odunze as doubtful with that foot he re-aggravated on Sunday morning. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's probably more doubtful. Again, the season's lost. Why are we rushing these guys out here? Same with Garrett Wilson. Why are we rushing him out there with a serious knee injury? Christian Watson with the chest-shoulder thing. I have him as doubtful. Not sure what's going on with Quentin Johnson. I did list him as doubtful, but he's more of a true questionable, I would feel. Ricky Pearsall did kind of re-aggravate his PCL knee injury, but we'll watch for his reports. They play Monday night, so we won't get a report on him until Thursday. Luther Burden did pop up with an ankle thing. I'm not sure what he's got going on. Devon Valley left the game in a sling, so I'm thinking he's doubtful. More Chris Olave, more Juwan Johnson, and then Rashad Bateman, questionable with an ankle, and Pat Bryant didn't go last weekend, so we'll talk about the Broncos replacements. And then you got a few tight ends here that we weren't using. If you need a quarterback this weekend, guys, 1 QB leagues, you need CJ Stroud, play him against the freaking Raiders. Let's do it. Jacoby Brissett also has proven to be a really solid guy just based on volume alone. And then all the way down here, I do think Tyler Shuck could be your guy. We just saw Trevor Lawrence throw 5 touchdowns and run for 1 against this Jets defense. So yeah, if you need a quarterback, those are my favorites. If you need a running back this weekend, JCM should have been picked up last week. I know he was kind of a late start scratch thing kind of going on, but if Rodriguez is out. Like I'll probably have JCM ranked highly again just because he's going to get the volume. But Michael Carter is probably the one name that should be out there in most leagues. We're down to they lost James Conner, Trey Benson, Bam Knight. Now we're down to Michael Carter and Imari DiMercado. I think both guys are playable. I would rather play Michael Carter if I had to choose between the two. Amir Abdullah. I have him noted here as a PPR scam artist with Phillip Rivers just because he's going to catch a lot of dump-offs. Phillip Rivers did not have a high ADOT on Sunday. He really doesn't have a lot of time to throw, and he's got to get the ball out quick. So receivers in the short area are going to be his preference. Amir Abdullah, all of a sudden, a PPR potential RB2 play going forward. And then down here, I do have Audric Estime. He would be the guy for the Saints if Neal and Kamara can't go. Also keep an eye on Dare Ogunbowale. And then I didn't put him on here, but they signed him up to the roster. Jawar Jordan for the Houston Texans, just another name if you need a running back. Keep adding stashes for next weekend as well, guys. If you need a receiver this weekend, Adonai Mitchell would be the one. Jaden Reed should be picked up by now. If anyone dumped Rashid Shaheed or Ricky Pearsall, I'm open to them. Matthew Golden might be kind of interesting. He continues to make big plays, even though he gets a little opportunity. And then Luther Burden should have been picked up by now as well. If you need a tight end, it's Colby Parkinson. And then some of these other guys here that you could look at. But Colby Parkinson's been putting together a nice last 5-6 games. And then if you need a defense this weekend, the Texans, man, they look really, really good. But widely available defenses include the Bills at Cleveland, the Chiefs at Tennessee, and the Saints at the New York Jets. And I'm just going to catch my breath here. And let's get into it. There's the list of favorite ads for you guys. So congrats again, everybody. No, Frosty lost by 2 points. That's a bummer, my man. I had 18 best ball leagues that I had going on DraftKings, and I was advancing in 4 of them last night. I felt really good about 2 of them, and when I went to bed, I was going to advance in the 2 that I thought I was going to advance in, and then here comes Darren Waller to knock me out of pretty much. I'm knocked out of all my best ball finals, unfortunately. So we had the Kyle Pitts breakouts, all for naught. So I'm pretty disappointed as well. This is one of my worst years as far as playoffs. I have 1 league left where I'm the back-to-back defending dynasty champion, and I'm in no, like, it's a Final Four, but I'm not a serious threat. So looking like a year where I don't win a championship. So unfortunate, but that's the way she goes sometimes. And good evening to Harris. Jalen Warren got stuck on the 1 twice, which is why that, oh man, to have the so not only, all day are you thinking, we want this play by Jalen Warren to happen, but to get 2 cracks at it from the 1 and then they give it to the freaking tight end for the touchdown is pretty frustrating. Parkinson or Michael Carter, that's a really tough question, Harris. If you need a starting tight end, then yeah, the answer is Parkinson. If you need a flex here, I'm probably going with Michael Carter. I just feel a little bit more stronger about him hitting his floor. And it's against Atlanta. This is a game that really doesn't matter. So anything could happen. And we've seen Michael Carter play well here. So I'm not quite sure if I need more context there to answer that question, but I'm going to lean Michael Carter for now. Oh, man. Yeah. And it's just Sunday was one of the worst feelings for me, just being a Packer fan. And just having the air squeezed out of your season in just a quick game. It was pretty frustrating. And hey, Brian Thomas Jr., man, what's frustrating to me is he's probably going to be a top 10 fantasy receiver the rest of the way or something now that we don't need him. Michael Carter, again, so bids, like, there's only 4 teams left in your league, Harris. If you need him to start for you, I'm going to probably be pretty aggressive here. This is the Final Four, man. I think you got to pretty much dump everything that you have into it if you need a starting running back too. If you're just trying to block somebody, I'd like to save a little bit of cash for next weekend just in case you get to the championship and you want to make sure you can make some moves. So I would probably need some more information to figure out how much we're bidding on Michael Carter. Because if you got $50 left, that's a difference. If you only got $10 left, I'm probably blowing all $10. So we'll see. And good evening to Gullies. I hope you're doing well, man. I saw your comments earlier today. And good job, Harris. Alive in 5 best balls. So last year, it's weird because I played a lot of underdog in DraftKings last year, and I didn't play any underdog this year. I focused mainly on DraftKings. And I had 18 teams in the playoffs this weekend, and I didn't advance a single one. I had like all the seconds and the thirds possible. But damn, Darren Waller really, really screwed me. But congrats, Harris, on moving in through your best balls. And good evening to Badge Cam. We picked up Mike Evans last week. I thought it was a good snag. I didn't start him last week, but was surprised to see him take off. What do you expect from him this weekend? I mean, they're playing the Carolina Panthers for the division this weekend. So this is a huge opportunity for Tampa Bay to just stomp it out and get that one-game lead. And basically, whoever wins this game just needs to win one more game the rest of the way. Because I think they'll have tiebreaker, but I could be wrong on that. So I think all Bucs receivers are in play. You're going to keep playing Bucky Irving as a running back too, but definitely Mike Evans, man, he surprised me because he looked really, really good. But he also looked old, I also thought too, because every big play he made, he was kind of coming up and wincing a little bit. But I think Mike Evans is realizing that this is one of the final runs here for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, and they need all that they can get from him. So let's start Mike Evans. I'm going to have him listed as like a wide receiver 2, probably closer to like wide receiver 15, somewhere in that range. But I have so Wednesday I do my rankings. I'll get those fired up tomorrow and see where he stands. Gully says made it to the championship. We got Devontae. I'm assuming no. I've just the comments right after the game seemed questionable. And the Rams are a team with Super Bowl aspirations. And we're talking about a Hall of Fame receiver that catches touchdowns left and right for this team on a short week. And I know it's against Seattle. They want to win this game really badly, but how badly is it to get a win at the expense of maybe losing one of your players if he hurts it again? So I would hope that they actually bench Davante Adams and it makes it easier for you to make a decision on someone else. Is Evans worth starting over Metcalf, Sutton, McConkey, Allen, or Gainwell? I think I'm going to have him ranked over all these receivers that you have listed here. I don't think Gainwell is going to be on my list. I would expect Jalen Warren to be a little bit healthier next week as well. He was battling some illness, and maybe that's why we saw a little bit more Gainwell last night, even though Gainwell's been playing well. But I do think I'll have Evans ranked higher than all of those receivers. I'm super frustrated with the Chargers receivers right now, but there's not much you can do. Herbert's playing through a broken left hand, and they're running the ball. He's getting sacked left and right. I'm going to play Evans probably over all of these guys. I would probably go Evans, Sutton, Metcalf, McConkey, Allen in that ranking right now. If Devontae's out, we're aiming to get Jaden Reed to replace him or Adnai. You already have Adnai, and then I get Fannin Jr. at tight end. I need a solid flexing of Waller or Parkinson if Devontae's out. So I always get nervous about playing, non-studs on Thursday Night Football, but Parkinson has been good enough lately where, 4 or 5 catches, he's got a solid 8 to 10 point floor. I don't hate the play. Ideally, though, I'm probably playing Jaden Reed and Adonai Mitchell if that's what the decision comes to. Seattle's a good defense. It's in Seattle. I'm probably going to sit with my advice would probably be Jaden Reed and Adonai Mitchell. And Sports Dogs got Warren and Gainwell. Would you ever consider running one as a RB and the other as a flex? I think it could work. I do think that could work. I would probably need to see the full lineup to make sure that that's going to check out. But when you're starting Warren plus Gainwell, you're hoping for 20, 25 points as kind of the median floor. And then, if both get touchdowns, if whatever happens. But I think that could work really, really well. I do want to see they're at Detroit this weekend. I see probably another 4 or 5 catches for Gainwell, another 1 or 2 catches for Warren. Steelers are probably playing catch up, which could lead to more Gainwell. So I'm probably going to have Gainwell ranked higher this week going into the Lions game. Let's see here. We got 1 QB, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 2 flex, 1 tight end. QBs are Dart, Purdy. I kind of want to play Purdy. I feel pretty safe about Purdy, but the ceiling is definitely with Dart. I'm going to lean Purdy just for tonight. Running backs are Henderson, Chase Brown, Judkins, Woody. We're going to stick with Hendo and Chase Brown at the 2 running backs. Receivers, they're saying good things about London, but I think your top receiver here is CeeDee Lamb for sure. And then, man, I mean, if London plays, you play them. That's the easy call. If London's out, I'm probably going to go Luther Burden against the Packers. And then McBride, yes. Flex, 2 flex. We're going to go Pitts. We're probably going to go Pitts and Judkins there. And then we'll see about Woody. So it's tough. We might have to come back to this either tomorrow or Thursday, Frosty. But for now, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Purdy, Hendo and Brown, CD Burden, McBride, and then I'm thinking Pitts Judkins for now. But again, pending London, pending Woody, honestly pending Burden as well. He's got a little bit of an ankle thing. And good evening to Double Tap. I appreciate you all for hanging out with me tonight. And Harris has $43 left. Again, I probably need more context, Harris. Like, is Michael Carter starting for you? Are you trying to stop other people from picking him up? I mean, in that case, I would probably also want to know how much the other people have in free agent auction dollars as well. I mean, if he's starting for you, you probably got to blow upwards of $25, $30 just to lock in a running back too that's going to get 10 plus points. So I probably need more context. You can always reach out to me on Twitter and we can look at it there. Yeah, man, Harris with the $43, big money bags there at the end of the season. Yeah, we're dropping Bashal Tootin in redraft leagues for sure with that finger surgery. Only 2 weeks left. He's probably not going to play till week 18 at the best. We're dropping Worthy for Jaden Reed and dropping Mark Andrews for Parkinson. I mean, at this point, if you're not going to be comfortable starting a player, let's just get rid of him. It's Worthy, who we're not comfortable with Gardner Minshew. It's also Andrews, who's he's just been inconsistent all season long. And honestly, the Ravens don't have any offensive identity right now. Like, they have Derrick Henry, who's not doing anything. Honestly, Keaton Mitchell's been one of their better players the last couple of weeks. And Zay Flowers is the lead receiver. So there's just nothing that I feel good about between the Ravens offense and the Chiefs offense. I would go ahead, especially with the Christian Watson injury, that makes Jaden Reed the Packers' clear number 1 target for me. And then Parkinson right now looks really, really good. And good evening to Scott. I hope you're doing well tonight, my man. I have Devontae Adams and have him on the bench. Parkinson's revenge is active currently. Man, my good friend Jesse, who's in my most important league, I've known him since the 3rd grade. And I honestly, I feel responsible for it because it was Sunday morning and he's just like, do I do Gesicki? Do I do Parkinson? We were both kind of feeling Joe Burrow in the Bengals that morning. And that's the reason he's not in the Final Four. So Parkinson, man, he is on a heater. I think he's a fine play if you want to play Colby Parkinson. Let's take a look at his numbers, actually, because they've been – I mean, he's attached to the MVP candidate quarterback right now who's just been catching he's just been throwing touchdowns left and right. So I'm just curious here over on the ESPN machine, Mr. Colby Parkinson. And why couldn't he do this last year when I drafted him a bunch in best ball? But 5 for 75 and 2, 3 for 32 and 1. That's the floor right there. The 4 for 27. The 2 for 14 is also a little concerning. But if you start Parkinson, you're expecting 3 to 5 catches. You're expecting 40 to 50 yards and really strong odds at a touchdown, honestly. And yes, good evening. Thank you. This is I haven't worn this. I had to dust it off. Me and my wife went through our primary closet this last weekend, and we just kind of reorganized things. And all of a sudden, you see these old things that you have, and you're like, "Oh my god, I should probably wear that." So I appreciate it, Gullies. Thank you for noticing. What defense you think would be best for me this week? The Eagles or the Saints, or pick up the Charlie Browns? Before I get into that, I just want to shout out a couple dudes here. This is the Fellowship Money League, and dang it, I was the 2 seed. I got my ass bounced. So Harris was the 1. Congrats, Harris, on your 1 seed. But I do in a 12-team league, I do a 7-man playoff, and pretty much all of my leagues, the first round of the playoffs, we call them a Royal Rumble, WWF, where everyone's in the ring. And what we do is we take the top 3 scorers out of the 6 teams. They all move on. So there's no head-to-head matchup that first round of the playoffs. So Tony, congrats, the 8 seed, he moves on, and we have the 4 and the 5 seed moving on in the Fantasy Fellowship Money League playoffs. So good luck to everybody there. But let's take a look at these defenses here. I'm kind of feeling the Eagles right now. I think they kind of got their swagger back last week, and they still haven't really been putting it together offensively. But this was a huge moment for them, and they've been good. I mean, they held the Chargers to 22. They don't really get blown up for a lot of points, and they get interceptions. They get sacks. They're kind of playing everything that they want to play well. And then you have the Commanders, which don't really, they don't really scare me. They do play Washington twice here to end the season, so it'd be nice to have something here. So I do feel pretty comfortable with the Eagles. But man, the New Orleans Saints this weekend are looking pretty good against the Jets. I do wish I could learn who their starting quarterback is. Now, they've given up 17 to the Panthers, 20 to the Bucks, 21 to the Dolphins, 24 to the Saints. The difference is going to be, do they get the turnovers, do they get the sacks, do they get the touchdown? I have the least confidence in the Saints, but I do think that they're going to win. And we're not picking up the Cleveland Browns at all, even though they play the Buffalo Bills, which I'm not going to mess with it. They're still a good defense. We're probably going to see the sack record set by Myles Garrett at some point here, but this is just not, they're giving up 26, 31, 31. I want nothing to do with the Browns. So I'm going to lean Eagles just based on the full season momentum and who I think is the best unit. So was benching BTJ for Watson something that will haunt me for a long? I feel responsible because I think I answered that question on the Sunday morning stream, which had Watson stayed out there and healthy, I think the Packers would have found ways to get him the ball. Let me just pull up. I want to see what his final stat line was the other day. 2 for 29, 5 targets. I would have liked to think that he would have finally got a big play or two that made it and got you your 2, 4, 5 points, whatever you needed. So I feel bad. Injuries are part of the equation that makes luck all of fantasy football, man. I just, as a Packer fan and just getting knocked out of playoffs on Sunday, it's hard. It's not easy to swallow the pill that a fantasy season is over. You just think of all your decisions that you've made throughout the year, and then it just comes down to one weekend of getting these decisions right, and then a player gets injured like Christian Watson or Jalen Warren gets stuffed at the 1-yard line. Man, this game is so stupid. We play a stupid game, but it's fun and addicting. It keeps us with our friends. I'm probably going to keep Zay Flowers in at flex here, so maybe you don't need Michael Carter as much as you think you do. Zay Flowers has been one of the only Baltimore Ravens dudes that I've been comfortable playing every week here. Where is Zay Flowers? And he finally gets the touchdown last weekend. He did have one bad game here, but his consistency's been pretty solid just in terms of getting touches and catches. So and this is a big game for the Ravens. They're still chasing the Steelers. They need this game pretty badly. They're home favorites. I'm probably going to stick with Zay Flowers in that game. And yeah, it is start your studs. But at the time, my man, was Brian Thomas Jr. a stud? I don't know. I know Scott does not think so. I would put in a respectful bid for Michael Carter, upwards of $18 to $20. I don't think you need him because you have Zay Flowers, and I feel pretty good about Zay Flowers. But if you get him, it also protects other teams from getting him and lowering their scores as well. We're looking to acquire Shuck off waivers this week. If I can't get him, do you like Minshew, Seaward, or Kirk this week? I'm probably going to go with Captain Kirk. I don't have a lot of trust in Cam Ward. I don't have a lot of trust in Minshew in his first game. Kirk looked good throwing to Pitts. If he gets London back, I'm probably going with Kirk Cousins over all these guys here. Yeah, I mean, he was just 1 or 2 catches away from getting the points there. What was the report on Drake London that I saw today? I thought I saw some positivity, but he has not practiced in like a month, it feels like. And usually when a player has been out that long, I usually want to see him practice for a full week, miss a game, and then practice for another week here. But let me pull up what we got here. Raheem Morris is hopeful, but hopeful doesn't really mean anything at this point. Like we've been hopeful for weeks here that he's going to be ready. So I'm still going to lean towards the doubtful side with the season lost, but there's a chance that he does play this weekend. Five Nights at Freddy 2. I can't. I've seen it, but I don't remember much of it. But we're a big fan of horror movies. That's kind of like our go-to genre. One movie that we really liked that kind of reminded me of the Freddy's was the Evil Monkey movie, where it's just dumb, fun, scary movie kind of stuff. But horror movies are our favorite genre. And enjoy the night out, my man. Have fun. We started Burrow. We still won, but we played against St. Brown. Wow. What? You won against St. Brown, Cook, and Hendo? I mean, that right there is 100 points. And Jason Myers has been kind of the MVP lately. So he did not start Gesicki, which I'm done with Mike Gesicki, man. I got to stop recommending him. I had a good feeling about the Bengals on Sunday, and it didn't quite work out. So, but congrats to Scott. We're going against McBride, Devonta Smith, McLaurin, Puka, Pickens. His running backs are Etienne Genty, Brees Hall, Woody Gainwell. It doesn't all that sound like a lot of people are nervous about Puka this weekend, but if Devontae Adams isn't out there, that's a lot more attention on Puka. And so that's where guys like Parkinson and the running backs and some of the other, they have like 8 receivers that they like to use. That's where some of those guys can come into play. But yeah, we got to worry about McBride the most. I think Puka, if he gets under 20 points, you're feeling pretty good about that. So if you can just survive a McBride and Puka score, like ETN against the Broncos, Genty, the Raiders, I'm not too intimidated about that lineup. It's the Final Four. Pretty much every team's going to be pretty good heading into this weekend. We got Brian Robinson as handcuff. I think I can drop him. What do you think? I'm fine dropping Brian Robinson if there is a crazy injury to McCaffrey this weekend and you need Brian Robinson next weekend, which I'm going to put the odds at maybe 5%. McCaffrey's been a tank all season. If you see something on the waiver wire that you think is going to help you right now or next weekend, I think there's probably not a lot of sleep I'm going to lose if I lose Brian Robinson here. Yeah, and so my Packers take here is they were still kind of a top 5 unit with Micah. They're probably more of like a top 10, 12, defense right now without Micah. But we're going to need other guys to step up. They need Lucas Finesse back. They just need some healthy guys on defense. But this is Jordan Love's team. At the end of the day, it was always Jordan Love's team. And we went into Denver, and Denver put up 34 points on our defense with Micah Parsons. So we weren't going to win with him in that game. It comes down to the offense and can they get turnovers and takeaways. So I still think they can give the Rams or the Seahawks a run in the NFC Championship game, but now it's fully in Jordan Love's hands. I feel I was like a proud dad on Sunday watching Trevor Lawrence, and I know it was the Jets, but still, that's what it should have looked like against the Jets. You should shred them. You should throw for the most passing yards and touchdowns and whatever you've had. They haven't had an interception all year. Trevor Lawrence did not finally change that. So when I watch football on Sunday, like the Packers are my team. The Jags have been kind of my number 2, and the Chargers have been my number 3. But I really like this Jags team right now. I think Liam Cohen's got him turned up, and I think the AFC is wide open. I still think the Broncos probably are the favorite. We watched them against the Packers on Sunday, look pretty dominant. The Broncos will probably be my favorite, but I think the Jags can make a run to the AFC Championship, and those Texans right now, if they can keep figuring out offense, that defense is pretty legit. Our favorite horror movies aren't necessarily the slasher movies. Our favorite horror movies are more of like the paranormal, ghosty type movies. We could get into that. That should be a whole nother episode of the kind of movies that we like to watch. But tonight she's got us watching the Gremlins, which is a Christmas movie, by the way. Week 17 McBride, man. Week 17 McBride. Who did they get the Falcons? So I think McBride's going to be in for another good week here. I'm sorry, Harris. I'm sorry. Would you rather have Colson Loveland or Darren Waller this weekend? Let me look at the I got to look at the old fantasy points allowed machine. It's Darren Waller against Cincinnati, man. How do I not rank him as a top 10 tight end? Packers are, middle of the road against tight end. Loveland's been pretty sturdy, but I think you take the risk here. But it's also like, what quarterback are we getting for the Dolphins? Is it going to be Zach Wilson? You got to think about that a little bit too. And last weekend, the Bengals, they didn't really allow anything to Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. So I'm leaning towards Darren Waller being ranked higher here. But again, he got all of his stuff in garbage time last night in the fourth quarter, which worries me. I think Loveland is the smarter play against the Packers, especially if Rome Odunze's out again. I just want to lock in my 10 points at tight end. But if you want to swing for the risk here with Darren Waller against the Bengals, I think that's fine. Oh, man. If you can find another defense, I probably would, but it's not the worst. Usually these division games, especially on a Thursday night game, they're low scoring. Stafford does kind of get turnover happy sometime, and the Seahawks can easily take one to the house. So, excuse me. So I don't hate it, but it's, man, I'd have to know what other options are out there because they're probably not going to be ranked too high for me this week when I do them tomorrow. How do I see my next slide? I mean, they got the Rams scoring 23, which is kind of middle of the road. So it's going to come down to, again, can the Seahawks get pressure on Stafford? Can they get sacks? Can they get turnovers? Holding them under 20, I think you might be able to get enough points out of Seattle. The ETN game was pretty wild. Just the passes that he was catching. And he had one it was the one at the end of the game where he kind of just caught the low screen and just went to the house. That one was unnecessary. We didn't need that one. You had 17. Nice, Harris. We'll have to talk more best balls in the future. I think I feel stronger about Colby Parkinson right now, especially if Devontae Adams is out. And I know the matchup is really, really good for Darren Waller on paper, but he's still not quite a full-time player for the Dolphins. And if Tua Tagovailoa is out and we go to Zach Wilson, is that where do we want to be left holding that bag? I probably don't want to. So I think at the end, when I do my rankings tomorrow, I'm probably going to have Parkinson ranked just a little bit higher. I'm going to bake in some Waller risk there a little bit. Oh, The Exorcist, man, that's a good one. The new Exorcist was terrible. That was one of the first movies. I think it came out like last year or two with the two girls. And that movie, like we hated that movie. We also hated the new Conjuring movie. We thought that one was pretty weak. But those are the movies that we look for. Favorite hidden gem, I think it's on Netflix. It's called The Wailing, but we like the Korean, Japanese scary movies. Those ones we always like those. We're a subtitle movie family, so we like to read the words so we can hear better. Boswell or Pernero. I'm probably going to stick with the Steelers here. Even it's in a dome in Detroit. They didn't really kick field goals last night, so that you probably got some more coming to you. I'm going to lean with Boswell here. I don't really have a ton of trust in Pernero. I still like Boswell quite a bit. Yeah, I just Darren Waller is not he's not a guy that I trust. He's a guy that I want to trust, but we haven't seen anything from him all season to trust him. He's older. He comes up with injuries, all this stuff. If Devontae's out, I'm going to go with Kobe Parkinson. I like these thoughts as well. I almost want to. So me and my wife, we've her mom has one of the biggest like DVD collections at their house, and we've been collecting DVDs. So we've been firing up our DVD player. We have a used DVD store pretty close. We have a bunch of them, but we like going to the used DVD store, which basically it's like going back to Family Video, wherever you guys got your movie rentals. And now you just get to get them for $1 and you get to own them. So that's been kind of fun. So we've been building out our collection and having fun looking for some scary movies. We just watched a really weird one the other night. What was it? 1 Hour Photo with Robin Williams. That one's really creepy, but you got to be in a mood for that one. That one was really, really strange. Yeah. My small town in Green Bay, we were Family Video, and we had one or other two that I couldn't remember. We did have a Blockbuster, but we had Family Videos everywhere, so that was kind of our big one. So we've been on a kick lately of like right now we're me and my wife we're watching the Gremlins tonight. We're gonna watch Gremlins 2 later. I really like the 90s. Just there's something about the 90s vibe that I don't know. There's no technology really that's out there today. The 90s movies have been pretty good. We've been liking those. Yeah, I think they only completed 8 passes. They had maybe like 14 or 15 completion or attempts. So that's definitely a huge thing. And we don't have a lot of trust in the Ravens offense either right now. So I'm willing to realize that's a blip on the radar. But also, again, if it's the Dolphins and it's Zach Wilson, are we going to want to be starting Zach Wilson's tight end in the Final Four? Are we going to want to be starting Matthew Stafford's tight end on Thursday Night Football? So I'm probably going to lean with Matthew Stafford's tight end over Zach Wilson's tight end, but we could see. I like Blumhouse. During Halloween, I think we downloaded the what's the scary movie app? I think it was like Shudder or something. But usually during Halloween, we'll fire up one of those 7-day trials of Shudder or one of the scary movie apps and just kind of go through them. But I do like a lot of like the found footagey type scary movies. Those ones are always feeling really real. Hell House LLC. My wife makes fun of me because I like those movies a lot. But Hell House LLC, pretty creepy shit. I have not watched the new It series. We're waiting. So we actually paused our HBO because, like my guy Scott here says, there's nothing good on HBO right now. We're gonna wait for the House of Dragon to resume. So I'll probably catch the new It maybe in the spring or the summer when the new House of the Dragon comes out. But yeah, we're struggling right now to watch shows. There's not a lot. Like the new Stranger Things has been pretty good though. I will give it that. We actually just kind of rewatched all the Stranger Things the last month as we're getting ready for this final pitch here. Joe Burrow with nothing to lose, season on the line here. Joe Burrow, especially after getting 5 points last week, I got to think Joe Burrow will come through. I don't expect T. Higgins. I would need to know the other options. Like I might even prefer Jacoby Brissett over Joe Burrow right now. But against the Dolphins, I'm still going to have Joe Burrow as a top 10 QB. So I just bought we were at the DVD store on Saturday and I bought the Stephen King It, which was pretty good. And then there's another classic Stephen King movie, which when I was little, when I was born in 1992, and I don't know when this came out, but they're like back in the day, they used to show movies for like an hour and a half on like And when it was like a long movie, they would do it for like 2 or 3 nights, and it was this movie called Storm of the Century with Stephen King. That was one of my favorite ones, and I was able to find that one on DVD. Burrow or Lamar in week 16, 6 points per touchdown. As of now, we have Lamar in. And which 2 receivers would you play in non-PPR? So Burrow versus Lamar, I'm probably going to stick with Lamar Jackson just because of the urgency that Baltimore has to stay in the race with the Steelers. You're also at home against the New England Patriots, so that should be a primetime game here. It's on Sunday Night Football. I'm going to stick with Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow. And which 2 receivers would you play in non-PPR? So we're thinking touchdowns. I'm benching Justin Jefferson here, my man. I'm playing Cortland Sutton. Broncos versus Jags, like that's kind of where you want to be. I do like Jaden Reed quite a bit. I think Rashee Rice is probably not my guy this weekend. I'm probably not playing Emeka Egbuka. So it's going to come down to – so I think you got Sutton in, and I'm okay with Rice because he should have a floor of, 50, 60 yards. But I'm kind of thinking Jaden Reed or BTJ would be my choices. Just the BTJ matchup in Denver scares me a little bit. So I'm probably gonna lean Jaden Reed here. Christian Watson can't go. Check out Gujara. Okay, good. I'm gonna put it here in my other tab here. Gujara. There we go. Good watch movies. Oh shit. Okay. Thank you. Let's go. Oh man, we're going brisket. We're going the beef brisket here. And I don't even think it matters if Marvin Harrison plays. Just against the Atlanta Falcons, Falcons Cardinals, like this game could be complete ass. It could be 43-52. Like who knows what we're getting into, but I do know Jacoby Brissett is going to keep throwing the ball at the end of the day here. So I think I'm going to lean Jacoby Brissett. I loved both It movies, but I like Chapter 1 better for sure for the new It movies. But I do want to get into this new It show on HBO. Hard to bench him after a win. Yeah, maybe starting Wilson too. Supernatural. I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it. Is that the Oh, so okay, this is the one that I was thinking of. I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it. It used to be on the WB back in the day. I'll put it on my tabs here. Michael Coach Carter. I love Scott's nicknames for everybody. But all right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta get back to work. We got a lot of good stuff going, and maybe in the off season we'll have a multimedia exchange here where we're just kind of talking about videos and shows and stuff. But enjoy the movie tonight, Freddy 2, and we'll be back tomorrow night, guys, 7:00 Central Time. We'll go over the start sits. I'll have my weekly rankings and everything kind of out as well that we can look at. But good evening. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night, guys. Peace.